I'm the boogeyman. I'm coming to get you.
Welcome to Book It, a wrestling podcast for the fans, by the fans, where we book, rebook, and revisit your favorite wrestling storylines. I'm your commissioner, Lil X Fudge, and today we're here with your GMs, Damone D Money.
Hello.
The bad guy, Kenny.
I should have said I'm the booking man, and I'm coming to get you. That's what I should have said, but
Oh, missed opportunity. You're fired.
Drop the ball.
And the 17th return of High Five Mike. Let's fucking go.
Hi.
Bro, I didn't even say words. Fuck him.
I said hi.
but-
Fuck you, bitch.
But
I don't think you
speaking of-
said all those words.
I said hi, and now I said fuck you, bitch, because he had to push me. Don't push me.
Because
He's
I'm
about
close
get
to
a whole
the
bunch of
edge.
threes tonight.
wow, that's racist.
No, it has more to do with I don't know, just John fucking
More to do, so there's a little bit of
He ain't even
racism.
got a reason. He's
has
funny.
nothing to do with racism at all. Has
It's
more to do with John
this.
being a bitch ass.
Damn, that's
You're
crazy.
gonna punish Kenny for John.
That's
I'm
crazy.
gonna punish you next.
We put the
Hey, when
fist up.
y'all start punishing
I'm
each other, I
punishing
don't want to be
you
here for
all. I'm punishing you all next with my next booking.
that. Oh wow! Last time we had this, they took the show.
Say. Last time we heard that, we had to rebook it. We had to rebook it. and
Honestly, we
recreate
might.
it.
That might end up being. I might have to pull a John.
We had to retcon an episode.
I might have to just retcon.
You really
entire
just erased the
BookItVerse.
entire company. It's really insane.
It's
like
lost
never
media
happened.
now. Let him enjoy it.
This
Uh,
wrestling
Dream
Sorry,
on,
society.
I
like,
can't
there's
do-
no memory of this.
And we got to change up this screen layout. I don't like this. Like, look, change up the screen order.
I don't. Is
There
that
we
better?
go. We was no, it's still segregated. Change it.
I was wondering what was going on. I was like, what?
I was confused. Is that better?
Such a weird
Nope.
thing.
Just
No,
listen.
John, you're dumb as fuck.
No matter what.
No matter what, we're gonna be.
Yeah, no
segregated.
matter
Right.
what, John. There's
I'm
four of
trying
us.
to end
There's-
racism like Cody
There we
Rhodes.
go.
There
That's
you
the
go.
best way to do it. Did not.
I don't want to be on top. I feel bad now.
So now you put black people in the corner. Is that what you're doing? Huh? Is that what you're doing? Huh?
We're all in a corner.
I know.
There's four corners.
Nobody puts baby in a corner.
Actually, you could do a custom layout and put.
That's a lot of work to avoid
And
racism. That's a
racism.
lot of work. Sounds racist. I'm gonna say that. Sounds
This
racist.
is a long walk for nothing because it's all gonna change in 2 seconds when Kenny's the big picture over here.
Yeah,
Can you cut this out, Damone? You need to make some notes. This should not
Nah,
make
keep
me
it
cry.
in.
we ended
on.
racism on live, Mike. Stop
Yeah,
being a
we're
baby.
into racism in 2024 through
Um,
StreamYard layouts.
But why is Kenny big, one might ask? And that's because, like the McRib, BookItVerse is
All
back,
the
baby.
dangers around.
Just like High Five Mike, BookItVerse got 17 returns. After a short break, we're ready to keep on going with BookItVerse 4. We do have a slight update to give, and that is that Travi T will not be finishing this BookItVerse with us. Will he be
Well, he
rating the
will
rest of
be.
this BookItVerse?
He's
doing it at the
gonna
end.
finish at the end, so we're gonna get like 6 weeks of.
Oh, word?
Yeah, so we're gonna get like 6 weeks of Travis.
6 weeks.
6 weeks straight of Travis is crazy. So
Am
y'all
I
found
wrong,
that out
though? He's
right
got
as I
three-
did
no,
on
he's
live.
not wrong.
That's crazy.
He's got 3 to present, each are 2 weeks, so it's literally 6 weeks.
6
of
weeks
Travis.
of Travis, and it's gonna
That's
be like
crazy.
8 hours a piece. Fuck. Like,
Get your hard hats ready.
Oh,
Also,
Yeah.
Sean, it's BOA, not BOW.
yeah, we don't. Yeah, it's alliance out here. We unify. We black. And just because of that, I'm taking my screen. There we go. Now you get a black screen. That's all you get. Take the icon off. too.
But
Black power.
to explain to those who may be asking, Travis T just needed some extra time due to some personal reasons. We're respecting that. We love him. We miss him. Or at least some of us do. Not me. Fuck him.
Yeah, so speak
Uh,
for yourself.
But
He said we.
I love you.
Damone
Travis.
does, I guess.
Damn it.
I don't know.
Fuck you still, but I love you.
But today we continue on with the next show from BOA. Can you tell us what's going on?
All right, so if you don't know, this is a black-owned company, owned by Theodore Long. You know, he's out here, man. He's trying to do something. He's trying to give something back to the people. And last we checked off, we had a wild segment where we had Tony Atlas, our world champion, the Nigerian warrior himself, go up against Big E. And they had a crazy blue bar cage fight, and it ended with the big boss man arresting him. And we never got to see the climax of that match. And I got to see who the winner was because he got arrested. So we're gonna see what's going on with that. But this pay-per-view,
that's how the last paper.
Yeah, that's how it ended. That's how it ended. Left you over the cliffhanger. So we got to do previously on BOA. Okay, so this is for this event, we are in Brooklyn, New York, but this event looks like a Coliseum. Brooklyn. It looks like a Coliseum.
Are we at the Diddy party?
No, we are not at a Diddy party. We don't do that here. We do not do that here. But this event looks like a Coliseum.
Dream intro.
And fireworks go off, and King Booker is up in the royalty area drinking wine and eating grapes. So that's all. So we got right now for you. And then the show kicks off. We got Teddy Long in his office, and he's sighing. He's like, and we hear footsteps walking to his office. Teddy, irritated, says, "What do you want, TDJ?" And TDJ sits down. We hear boos in the background as he smiles and says, "Oh, don't act like you aren't happy to see me. I know your main event didn't turn out the way you liked, but don't take it out on me. I just want to talk. It seems like you need a friend." "Oh, so you did this shit. Am I that much comp to you? Did you have to ruin my show?" "I had nothing to do with the cops raiding your little show. One thing about me, Theodore, is I'm a lot of things, but I am not a liar. I like what you got going here. Power to the people. Salute to the brother man and not the other man. But let's be real. You're playing owner and GM and don't have a clue of what you're doing. Maybe this is a sign. Maybe you do need to give up on doing this. So how about this? You are clearly out of your league. You won't have to worry about the stress of the job anymore. How about this? You sell me your company, and I'll make sure your family is handsomely paid. Your family's handsomely paid." My fault, lost my place. It disappeared.
So the TDJ.
Yeah. It's handsomely paid. He adjusts his suit jacket as Teddy nods his head and gets up. "I have my disadvantages just like you have, but I'm not going to play victim. I am more than capable of running this company, so I don't need your charity. I don't need your pity, and you are not superior to me. Yes, I'm a black man. I plan on doing something historic, so stick around for this. BOA is going to be on top." Well, first of all, let's cool it with the racial accusations. That's simply not true. I'm colorblind. Black Lives Matter, right? Listen, you need me. I know your pride won't admit it, but you need me. Let me take ownership of this company, and you will never have to worry about the stress of running an organization. I mean, let's be honest. You're very articulate. You don't sound black, so that'll take you far. So think about this. My money, your flavor, we can run this. We can really run this. You may not be colorblind, but you must be deaf. I said it once, and I don't plan on repeating myself. No, this is my company, and I will never, ever sell this company to a tyrant like you. I plan to stay. So do me a favor. Take your tacky, ugly red suit and that blood money check you have for me and get the fuck out of my office.
He's in a red suit?
Oh, yeah, he's always in a red suit, man. And don't let the doorknob hit you.
More on him that I did not know. I've been picturing him in like generic like gray suits. He got red suits on.
Yeah, TDJ's been he always wears a red suit.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I don't remember that being canon.
I did say it. I did say he always wore a red suit.
Or I don't feel like he deserves to wear a suit that fresh, honestly.
And don't let the doorknob hit you with a good Lord split you. Have a nice day. And we see a cut of him slam the door in his face. TDJ smiles, reaches in his jacket pocket, and sets his car down in front of the door as the camera zooms in on his car and slowly backs out. That's the first segment.
I'm gonna give it a 4.5. Like it hit the notes it needed to. Like it didn't give a lot, but like it hit the things that it needed to. TDJ was a piece of shit, and
he's a piece of shit.
The Black Lives Matter, and what was it? With my money and your
flavor, your
flavor. Yeah.
Sean Paul. TDJ is Ted DiBiase Jr. He is the owner of DPW, and he's trying to snake this company out from under him.
Yeah,
You know, the
so
guy who
it's
actually
a good
scammed
basis.
poor people in real life.
Yes. The guy going to prison, probably. Him and Brett Favre should share a cell.
Oh my
But yeah, I'm gonna give it a
Better not ever
4.5.
go to cell block 1.
goodness. Damn. All right, Mike, John, either one of y'all.
I liked it. Your delivery was really good. That ended the way it should have. The way Teddy Long responded, being as like disgusted as we all were. Had there been any civil conversation after that, I would have been upset because TDJ
He just shakes his
was
head. He's like, you know what? I will give it up.
You know
like,
what? This is how this is Teddy
because
reboot. This
TDJ
is how
was so comically racist that like he had
this is
to
how
get
Teddy
yelled at.
reboots it.
So
He sells BOA to Ted DiBiase Sr.
Just like that.
yeah.
All right, guys, end the show.
Welcome
They have
to
to literally change the names.
DPW.
It's not black owned anymore at that point. But I'm gonna give this a $4. It served its purpose. It was a little hard to watch with TDJ.
It's supposed to be hard. It's supposed to be hard to watch.
That's intended, and
You
didn't
did hard
get
during
a,
that segment. We gotta talk.
He didn't get a dub on
Crazy.
the promo, so that's
Oh, this
why I'm rating
racism is killing me.
it.
Mike,
I'll
what you
give
got
you a
for me?
4. What
Hey,
they said
I'll
is
take-
right.
I'll take it. I'll take it. Support the brother, man.
Good God.
DDJ is a piece of shit, man.
What's
But
that's
fist
from
bump, too.
what's it from? I can't think of the movie.
Oh, I heard a lot. That's why I'm like, I don't know.
I
which
was Undercover Brother is what I was thinking of.
one. But yeah, I've heard it a lot. It's very racist. All right. Next one. So we starting off with Tony Atlas. He's gonna be first match. So we see Tony Atlas sitting in a holding cell with others around him as one inmate walks up to him smiling. We see him give money to Sergeant Ray Traylor, which is Big Boss Man, as he walks by. Traylor takes his billy club, moves the camera up out of the field of vision. The inmate says, I knew you. You're that guy, Tony Atlas, world champion, huh? Now look at you. One of us. Hey, what is it that you call yourself again, huh? Tony, with his face pressed up against the bars, turns around and says, I'm a Mandingo warrior. The inmate cracks up laughing. Tony laughs with him and then stops. He gets in the man's face, but we see two more inmates walk up as well. Tony looks up at all three, and his head drops down. He walks up a little bit closer, then raises his head back up with a smile. He cuts to black, and we see 6 months ago at the bottom of the screen. We hear an announcer say, Swerve is climbing the top rope. If he gets this off, he will be champion. He will have finally done it. Powerhouse Hobbs is slowly getting up, and Swerve hits the house call at the top turnbuckle. Hobbs drops, and we see Swerve hop on, and the crowd chants along with the ref, 1, 2, 3. Swerve has finally done it. He has finally fulfilled his destiny. He is the Dallas Wrestling Federation World Champion. And DWF has made history tonight with our first ever all-black main event, and against all odds, Swerve has done the impossible and finally become world champion. Swerve is on his knees clutching the belt. His music is playing, and Prince Nada is doing his little dance ringside. The crowd cheers as he smiles, and we see him zoom in on his grill, and he zooms back out from his grill, and it's present day. God damn it. Keeps zooming. Okay, my fault. It keeps scrolling away.
When the draft.
Okay, so zooms back out from his grill, and it's now present day. He's still DWF World Champion. He has it on his shoulder. He has the belt on his shoulder. As we see the DWF General Manager Sanjay Dutt say, DWF, DWF. The crowd cheers, and we have prepared great news. We're going to make history yet again at the DWF. We're prepared to open the forbidden door. Our world champion, the crowd's chanting, Swerve, Swerve, Swerve. Swerve Strickland will go against the BOA world champion, the Warrior, Tony Atlas. And the crowd cheers at this matchup. I'm ready. Swerve's ready. This DWF crowd is ready. Tony, I hope you're ready because Swerve is coming for you. The crowd cheers even louder as he drops the mic.
Oh, that was close.
So what?
Coming for you.
Going for you, nigga. So we cut the present day and see Atlas sitting in a holding cell alone, with others around him rolling around on the ground, holding different body parts as the door is slowly released. Tony Atlas' son, Robert, signs him out, and Malcolm Bivens walking with them, and they sign him out. And he says, hey, man, we had to get you up out of here, boss. Can't keep my boy locked up. Atlas, walking and talking, says, what is the meaning of this? Nobody told me why I was arrested. I was fighting Big E, then all of a sudden I'm being detained. Why? Robert says, listen, you can depend on us. We always got your back. You will never lose that title. Even if I got to pull strings to make sure that don't ever happen when you're losing. You know what I'm saying? And then Atlas stops in his tracks and says, wait, losing? Pull some strings? You did this shit without my okay? See, you're dumber than I thought. You got the rest of the locker room thinking I'm soft. You got these fucking rednecks out here stopping my fights, knowing damn well if I'm gonna lose, I'm gonna die on my own sword. I don't need you fixing my fights for me. I fix my opponents. Fix my opponents right up for the emergency room. I'm the best for a goddamn reason. I'm not a champ to take the easy route. I worked my ass off to get here, and you threw it all away. I can't believe you would do that shit. You fucking imbecile. He snatches him up by his suit jacket, set up a rematch with him. We're running it back. You're walking home. He hops in the car as Robert says, Dad, you can't be serious. Come on, man. I did it for us, man. As Tony's in the back seat looking ahead, and Bivens looks at him and says, I got to listen to the boss. I'm sorry. He gets in the back with him, and the driver pulls off. Dad, quit playing. Dad. And they pull off as he stands there looking disheveled at the police station still.
Is it raining?
It's got to be raining. It's got to be raining. I didn't plan on it being raining, but now you said that it's raining now. So during Big E's match with Moose, Tony Atlas pulls back up to the arena with Malcolm Bivens. Big E puts Moose into the rear naked choke, and Moose taps, and Big E kicks him off as Clubber Lang watches ringside. Tony walks down the ramp as Big E has his arms raised by the ref. Tony grabs a mic and he gets in his face and says, next week. He walks away as the crowd cheers. So week 2, Big E walks up on Tony Atlas backstage. I had a feeling you had nothing to do with that shit at Ground Zero. I knew you weren't that scared of me. He smiles and gets in Tony's face and says, and if you think I'm going to bend the knee and claim that you're this Mandingo warrior, that you're sadly mistaken. Tony gets even closer to his face and says, what happens to things that don't bend? They break. He grabs his belt and walks off. In the main event, Tony Atlas gets the championship rematch with Big E. These two brawl it out in a very intense physical match until an unfortunate neck injury takes Big E out of the match as he lands wrong. The stretcher takes him out.
Bro, not again.
The crowd is feeling bad for Big E. Commentator Tuco Scorpio reminds the BOA crowd that Big E has been screwed out of winning on 2 separate occasions now when he has gone up against Tony. Both are undefeated technically, and the only blemishes on both their records are Big E's 2 match stoppages against him. Swerve comes out clapping and smiling as we see his grill, and some are happy to see him come to BOA, and some are booing him due to him being competition. Tony looks at him in disgust, and as he grabs his title on the timekeeper's table, and he walks out. Week 3, Tony is fighting the masked wrestler Mysterious Q. Q is in the corner. Atlas goes for a spear, but Q leapfrogs him, sending Atlas into the corner. He drops down, favoring his shoulder. The Texas crowd is cheering as the hometown hero climbs the ropes. Robert is ringside, screaming for his dad to get up. Q goes for his move's called a 455 splash. I don't know why it's called that, but so he goes for the 455 splash. But Atlas moves out the way. We see Atlas scoop him up for electric chair. Then he runs full speed and kicks off the second turnbuckle and finishes the move. He spears him from behind as Q is in agonizing pain. Atlas signals for the crucifix bomb. Then he stops and looks at Q slowly getting up, but still has heart to fight. He does a claw submission and rips his mask off as the crowd boos. Like some of the crowd's in disgust because of how disrespectful this is. He starts smiling as he taunts the crowd, shaking the mask. Tony sits him up while his head's in his lap and continues to rain down stiff punches to his forehead. The crowd is wincing at blood starting to form as he's starting to get a crimson mask. He throws him off his lap as the crowd feels sorry for him. Swerve comes out and slides in the ring. Tony doesn't flinch as he stares him down, and security and EMTs come out as well. Tony walks off as Swerve tends the Mysterious Q. And week 4, there's a contract signing. Theodore Long is waiting in the middle of the ring with a table there. 2 contracts and both titles are sitting there. Swerve comes out first and signs immediately, but Theodore Long gets on the mic and says, "I'm appalled. Tony Atlas' actions are not excusable by BOA. What he has done was disgusting. So we have decided to punish him. Swerve has decided to put in double duty as he will be an active wrestler in DWF and in BOA as well. Now, as the punishment for Tony Atlas, this cross-promotional match will put Tony Atlas' Black-owned Alliance World Heavyweight title on the line. But if Swerve loses, he will not lose his belt and will remain DWF champion. And if the police, Robert Atlas, or Malcolm Bivens interfere in this match, the BOA World title will change hands. We will not have a repeat of Ground Zero." Tony Atlas music hits after this as he comes out looking around pissed. Tony gets in the ring and doesn't say a word as he signs the contract and grabs his belt and puts it over his shoulder and starts to walk out. Swerve grabs him back and says, "Is that it? That's how you feel, huh? You think you just come in here and sign this and bounce like it's nothing? Like, you can just stop me with ease? I'm the DWF World Champion. You're going to respect me, or I'm going to fuck you up and make you respect me. Tony stops exiting and turns around. I don't do the talking. That shit at Ground Zero was my son. I had nothing to do with that. I don't need any help with a worthy adversary. But Swerve, I want you to remember this, and remember this well. Since you signed that contract, not even God can save you from what I'm going to do to you this Sunday. Swerve says, fuck that, Teddy. I'm not afraid of anyone. My title's on the line. I'm not worried about him. I'll be glad to do him. I'll be glad to do him dirty. Leave your punk ass son at home too. They both stare each other down as Tony's music hits, and he puts the belt over his shoulder and walks out. And then we are now at Soul Survivor, and Prince Nana comes out with Swerve. As Swerve's walking up serious, and he's doing a little dance in the background. And Swerve comes out in dark green camo pants. And then Hit a Motherfucker plays by 3-6 Mafia. As Tony Atlas comes out in black trunks that says Warrior in white. Malcolm Bivens by his side in an all-white suit, and his son Robert Atlas in an all-black t-shirt that says Warrior, holding up his title as boos wash over the arena. So the match starts, and they stare each other down. As the crowd gets loud, these two stare each other down for quite a bit. We get split chants, some chanting for Swerve, some chanting for Atlas. And they start trying to punch, like Swerve starts trying to punch Tony, but Tony keeps reversing it, doing a belly-to-belly suplex. This happens about 5 times until Swerve fakes a punch, and when Tony charges him, Swerve does a basement dropkick to his knee. Swerve sees the opening and does a running flying elbow that makes Tony roll underneath the ropes and take a breath. Swerve slides out of the ring. Ringside, Swerve elbows Tony. Tony takes a step back and from the stiff elbow and rests his head on the ring post. Swerve yells out, then hits a super kick that bounces Tony's head off the ring post as the crowd groans. Tony does an arm wrench to Swerve and hits it with multiple shoulder blocks. Tony hits a tiger bomb on Swerve. At one point, Tony goes for his finisher, which is spear from behind, but Swerve turns his body really quickly and knees him in the shoulder and does a running blockbuster. Swerve sits Tony up on the turnbuckle. He runs and does a jumping Frankensteiner as the crowd cheers. Tony favors his back, starts to sit up. Swerve climbs the top rope and does a diving foot stamp to his chest as the crowd cheers. He pins. 1, 2. Tony kicks out. Swerve hits a Fosbury flop as the crowd cheers. The fight makes it to the crowd after Tony clotheslines him over the barricade. Swerve continues to slam his head on the guardrails, hits him with various chops and punches, and Swerve clotheslines him back over the barricade and back to ringside. Swerve backs up and sprints and does a house call off the barricade to Tony on the ringside. I put Swerve in there twice. To Tony ringside. Swerve is hype. Ringside high-fiving people as the crowd goes crazy. Tony spine busters him into the barricade to slow him down. At one point, Swerve runs and does a moonsault off the announcer's table, but Tony catches him and does an Oklahoma slam. Swerve works the leg more at this point with leg takedowns and leg kicks, but this ends with Tony hitting a pounce that turns him inside out. Then he drops to one knee and is favoring that leg. Tony hits stiff punches to the top of Swerve's head, trying to bust him open until Swerve does a face rake to get him off. Swerve super kicks Tony and he goes through the ropes. Tony drops to a knee and Swerve runs back to gain momentum and does a suicide dive that sends him back into the barricade. Swerve starts punching him on the top of his head this time. Swerve goes for a lariat, but Tony ducks it and turns and does a picture-perfect step-up enziguri that shocks the crowd, showing off Tony's athleticism. He places Swerve's head on the steel steps and does a running knee that has Swerve rolling around, favoring the back of his head and nose. Tony is ringside, and he hits a crucifix bomb to Swerve onto the announcer's table. Tony picks Swerve up in a fireman's carry, runs full speed, and kicks up the second turnbuckle and does a Samoan drop to get more air. Swerve goes for a springboard crossbody, but gets big booted out of the air. And Tony Irish whips him and does a flapjack Irish curse, and then drops down to all fours as his body's worn down. Swerve gets him back with his own enziguri that drops Tony to a knee. And then towards the end, Swerve does a Rolling Thunder pay dirt, but Tony uses his strength to keep him airborne. And Tony lifts him up in the air and does a Uranagi and then drops to the ground. Swerve is on the ground favoring his back. Tony's falling backwards into the corner and pulls himself up using the ropes. And Swerve is barely getting up as Tony squats down and tells him to come on. And he pulls against the ropes and trying to charge up. And Swerve finally gets all the way up, and Tony sprints at him and spears him from behind. And Swerve favors his back as Tony flips him over and pins. 1, 2, 3. Tony wins the match. The ref raises his arm. Tony quickly rips his arm away from him. And Malcolm Bivens gets in the ring. Robert is standing there with his arms raised, and Tony steps back a couple steps, and then sprints forward and spears Robert from behind. The crowd is in shock, and then starts booing as Tony slowly gets back up as his son is crawling onto the ground. Malcolm quickly gets out of the ring. Tony nods his head, and Malcolm looks down, hesitating, but he grabs the handcuffs and handcuffs Robert to the rope. Robert's trying to get up, his body leaning forward as his arms are strained by the cuffs. Malcolm gets out of the ring again and grabs a chair. He opens up the chair and sits down on it, and we see him talking to Robert. Robert gets to one knee and he's crying. He says, "Look at me, look at me. I want you to look at me. I want you to look me in my eyes when you do this. You owe me that." We see a tear roll down Tony's cheek. Then he hits him several times with punches that bust him open. Tony looks at him and yells real loud, pissed off. He then hits him with an unprotected chair shot to the head. Robert drops down to both knees and he's unconscious. Tony grabs him by the throat, choking him and shaking his head as his face is like turning beet red. He just continues to choking him. "Look what you made me do!" And he continues to choke him and throws his head down. Laid out now, dangling by his arm, he puts the back of his head on his lap. He strokes his face and still crying. Then he stops crying and continues to punch his forehead over and over and over again. Blood is pouring down his face as Tony throws his head down to the mat. Tony paces back and forth with his fingers covering his face. And he yells, "You did this!" And then drives the chair into his gut over and over again. Security, EMTs, and Shelton Benjamin come out separating him. "We cannot! Look, wait! That is what you have done!" The crowd boos as we see Robert get put on a stretcher and hauled away. Then that's the end of that one.
So Swerve won the match?
No, Swerve lost the match. So Swerve lost
Okay.
the match. He got beat up. And as Tony was getting his arm raised, he rips his arm away. And then he's like, and Robert's like, cheering with him. And he Tony takes a couple steps back and then hits the spear from behind to his son. And then he's beating him up, beating his head in. Yeah.
Beating his son.
Yeah, so he beat his son like he didn't know him. And yeah, to the point where he had to get hauled away on a stretcher.
By the way, I just looked it up. Tony fucking Atlas doesn't have a son.
He does not. He does not. He is an actor. He is a trained actor. Just like Jay Lethal didn't have a dying sister.
I feel like Bernie Mac when I found out that that whole story about his sister raising the kids, none of that fucking happened. I feel lied to.
They just got some indie wrestling.
Storytelling, man.
I feel like Damone's never watched television before.
I feel
wait till you hear about Shelton Benjamin's mom.
Did you know that Triple H really didn't marry Stephanie in that drive-through?
Yeah, he did. They're
No
married.
way.
Duh, they have kids.
So they're married
together.
now.
Kane wasn't
They're
really
married.
Undertaker's brother.
Edge and Christian
Yes.
are brothers. Bubba Ray
Edge
and
and
Devon
Christian
are
are
brothers.
Vampires.
They're also vampires. I believe it's still real to me. Damn it. So I'm gonna give it a 4.
Okay.
I do wish that, like, I get what you did with the whole jail thing, and like, I've kind of felt I get it was like a means to an end to get to him beating his son, obviously, because he's pissed that his son did that with the Big E thing.
Yeah.
And also, I guess you could have I'm assuming you're probably gonna have Big E come back, and that's gonna be like the finale, the end. But
anything can happen here.
Anything could happen. We still got. Are you spinning the wheel for the last one?
I got
You
some wheel
split the
next
wheel.
week. Next week, I
Okay.
got some wheel.
Yeah, I was gonna say
I
because
had no choice. I already did it last time. Like, I
All
didn't do
right. So I feel like I wanted that story the end, and there to be more of the gel bit instead of it just being like an anecdote, especially since that was like the big way that the show ended last time. And I get it is woven into the story, like with him and the son and everything. Or he's got to fight his son. That could also be the finale.
There's a lot of different ways this can go. There's a lot.
There's a lot. You know what? I'm gonna give you another quarter because I do like that. There's more than one avenue that I can go. So I'm gonna give you 4 1/4.
Thank you.
4 1/4.
All right. I'm gonna give you a $4.75, and here's why you lost the 1/4. Is that I felt like Swerve should have won the match somehow, and then Tony Atlas should have beat the shit out of his son. Like I feel like Swerve,
Even if it was like
even
by
having this
DQ.
match and being there is a little unnecessary now. Like he's just like a side piece. Like I don't know. He feels like a side quest now. Like none of this needed to happen. But I feel like had he won the match and been cost somehow by Robert's actions, then Tony would have more reason to beat the shit out of his son. So that's my only complaint with it.
That's a 5 for me.
Hey,
no
I'll
problem.
take it.
Starting your show off though with your world title it's a brave thing to do.
They did it in Berlin last night. Well,
Yeah, I was gonna
the other
say it
night.
happens, man. It
But
happens.
they have the second world title.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
that's true.
but that is not the main event. The main event here is the women's world title. You know, we love women's wrestling here. It's the main event. They're main event. Yeah, we out here.
Oh yeah, you
Wakanda
mean you're
forever.
copying me when I had the women main event my last pay-per-view?
What? I made this damn near a year and a half ago.
It's like you copied the thing I did, even though it's been done 8,000 times by other places.
Yeah, what's it? It's
No,
been
I
done.
was the first to do it.
Ever.
They don't love women like me.
Here's what I think of like a women's main event. I always think of what's her name? Gail Kim and Awesome Kong. That's what I always think of. Them.
Oh
going
yeah,
at it.
Dude.
Like that's like when I think women's main event, I'm like them right there. Okay. So I'm gonna get y'all with a skit, and then I have one more match for y'all. Like I said, it's not well, not skit. It's a segment. I'm gonna say it's skit.
Well, you do have.
Ian Peel on his show.
We're colored and we're brothers.
They're doing improv. Whose line is it anyway?
The Apollo when he has the broom.
All right, so we'll get into it. So we see a dark room. The lights cut on, and a parent says, "Hey, I know this is your first night without a nightlight, but how are we feeling? You okay?" The son says, "Yeah, I'm okay." Great, son. Now I heard you talking in here. Who are you talking to? That's just Martin. He's funny. The dad looks and says, "Martin? I used to have an imaginary friend named Martin growing up. That's peculiar." The son says, "But Dad, he's not imaginary. He told me he was your friend. Martin is here right now playing hide and seek." The dad looks a little scared and says, "He's playing hide and seek?" The kid says, "Yeah, Daddy." He says, you get three guesses." The dad's a little reluctant, but plays along and says, "Okay, is he in the closet?" He opens it up while his son says, "No, you get 2 more guesses." "Is he under the bed?" And quickly checks under the bed. "No, Dad, you're really bad at this." And the dad, laughing, says, "Well, smarty pants, is he in the bed with you?" And checks under the covers. The kid, laughing, says, "No, Dad, he's on the ceiling, silly." The dad says, "On the ceiling?" A cold chill goes up his spine as he slowly looks up, and a worm hits his shoulder. The kid starts laughing and says, "Time's up." He looks up and we see the boogeyman crawling almost spider-like on the ceiling with worms in his mouth. The dad screams as the boogeyman smiles from ear to ear and jumps down the camera's point of view.
5.
You're talking about worms. I'm trying to eat pizza.
Nobody told you to eat during my damn show.
Well,
Don't
don't
eat
give
it
me
during
worms.
BOA
I'm watching a
show.
pay-per-view weekly. I'm not trying to see worms.
know.
4.75.
You know boogeyman's on my show acting up.
I don't give a fuck. I don't like
Yeah,
worms.
Mike really went and got pizza during the show.
He really did.
4.75.
He won't get mad at me because I got boogeyman doing boogeyman shit.
How dare you not anticipate a year ago that I'm gonna want pizza?
Or just don't put worms on your show, and I'm good.
It's the boogeyman. He does
I
worms.
I'm
don't know
good.
what to tell
Find a
you.
way around
You
it.
gotta
Make it a
start
gummy
eating
worm.
worms.
I don't know what to tell you, Mike.
It is an integral part of the boogeyman character.
Well, I didn't like that about the boogeyman. What do you want me to tell you?
Like, that's his whole thing. Sorry, I don't know.
Boogeyman starts drinking the gummy worms flavor of Ray's Energy, our sponsor.
You gotta switch to those like the candy gummy worms for $1.
Exactly.
The sour neon worms. My fault. He had sour neon worms in his mouth.
There you go.
And they were
I'm
dropping
cool
on
with
him. Okay.
Damn, now I'm kind of jealous.
Damn
It'll
it.
be super sticky when they fall.
He's like, "What the fuck, is that Wildberry?"
That's why he screamed because of the stickiness. No,
No, I just got this shirt out the washer. All right, John.
I'm giving it $4.50.
Okay, I'll take it. We trying to get a little
Oh,
spooky. We trying to do a little something spooky here. We trying to do a little something.
I like what you're doing with Boogeyman.
These
Thank you.
scores have been too good.
His
I'm
real
scared
name
for the
Martin?
next match.
You said what?
Is his real name Martin?
His real name is Martin.
All I could think of was Martin Lawrence. Martin.
Yeah, I really hope. I was really hoping
Martin.
again with this bit. I was really hoping it was going to swerve to some sort of comedy bit, but it didn't. But I would have laughed if he opened the closet and like a Martin standee like dropped out or some shit. Just
Like
something.
Martin
say-
Lawrence.
There ain't
Martin
nothing funny about the
Lawrence.
boogeyman in this universe. He's supposed to be spooky. He already killed one kid.
If
and-
you give something that you think is going to be scary but ends up being funny before you give the scare, it makes the scare 10 times more scary. True story.
What did Mansers tell you that?
Damn it.
Mansions was a good show. I don't care.
I did mess with Manson.
Mode's like, I gotta know if I can fart so hard my balls explode.
Yeah, I did learn that if you're gonna get hit by a car, jump into the windshield.
It's
I was
called
a kid
building
like,
suspense.
let me go ahead and see what they talking about this
I remember that
episode.
one. How to fucking kill a bear with a fucking flat hand punch.
Damn it.
Okay, RFK Jr.
They gotta bring that shit back.
Nah. Okay, now this is
Sean, yes.
my final match of the show.
Oh, sorry, I was gonna say. Sean asked earlier. So did his son put his dad in jail?
He arranged. He paid off. Big Boss Man can be paid off, and he paid him off to arrest him.
So pretty much, Big Boss Man arrested Tony Atlas to prevent him because Biggie was gonna win the match.
He was going to win.
So-
he was choking him out. He was about to pass out.
Right,
and
he
then
was
we heard
about
the
to
police come in.
lose. So to keep him from losing, his son had Big Boss Man pretend to arrest him.
Yeah, and
To-
he was
to
confused. He's
keep
like,
his
"Why am I getting
title.
arrested?" He was like, "I set it up, Dad." He's like, "Get the fuck out my face."
Aren't you
mad.
proud of me?
Yeah, that's how he was. He just wanted to get his dad's love, man. That's all he wanted.
Kenny's got to find a random wrestler named Robert and make that
I would-
the war.
Listen. I thought about going with the random indie wrestler and changing his name to Robert Atlas just for this, and say
a
he was casted by
repackage.
such and such. But yeah, but anything can happen. Okay, so like I said, this is the final match of the night. Well, it's not night 1, night 2. You're just getting the first half. Okay, so we hear a phone go off, and we see 12 girls sleeping in a luxury suite. I can't read. Luxury suite. The angle.
Sleeping in suits. I
That was they're all sleeping in a luxury suite. In luxury suite. The angle, all you can see is white platform heels walk across the floor, stepping over different females. They stop in front of a desk. The camera pans up, and we see a hand with a gold pinky ring pick up the landline phone. Speak. Consider it done. This hand makes a glass of scotch on the rocks and takes a sip. We see two men standing. We see two men standing on a corner talking. The one says, "You heard what the Velveteen Dream did, man? I already saw the man twice and never even got up out his seat, man." The other one says, "Listen, man, Dream so bad. I heard the man fell out of water, fell off a boat, and never hit the water, man. He's bad, Jack." We see the hand with the pinky ring pop his collar, and we see a Velveteen Dream and a pompadour with his hand right. Damn it, did it again. With his hair wrapped up. So he's got that like Prince hairstyle. He's got the like Morris Day, like Prince kind of hairstyle. He puts his arms out, and when one of the girls puts a fur coat on him, he runs his fingers through his hair and grabs a toothpick. We see him look in the mirror and blow himself a kiss, then walk away from frame. We're back in the arena, and we hear Cheeseburger say, "So I had this ex, Jenny, was cheating on me with this guy." Reject Script says, "Jenny? Light skin, brown hair, heart tattoo on the butt cheek? Wait, you know her?" "No, doesn't ring a bell. Never seen her in my life." Keep going. "Well, Jenny always told me it's not what it looks like. I say that to say this. Don't trust anyone. All we got is ourselves. Ain't no way we can let anything come between us." "I got you." They bump fists and keep going. So week 2, we see a bunch of pimps gathered in a room, and one pimp in all green gets in the middle. One of the pimps get mad at the meeting and tells the girl serving drinks, See, it's the principle of the matter. Get that drink right, baby." And then get that drink right, baby.
Oh
The
my
one in
God.
green in the middle says, "You better
Fucking
tell him,
look
Mitzi."
back there.
Yeah, we're about to have a pimp meeting. So the one in green in the middle says, "You better tell him, Minty. Now, I know you all are wondering why I call this emergency meeting. Well, we have someone here in management that has an unapproved work set up for him. We don't approve of moonlighting." Goldmouth says, "Wait a minute, Silky. You saying they can't control they bitches? Because if they can't, then that means they can control you, and we can't have that. Because this hoe's going to treat you like a banana and split you, dig? No, nothing like that. Our coworker here has agreed to take on a team called Fight and Subscribe. A couple YouTubers that have taken up wrestling. Now you ain't running by the rest of the board or nothing. We don't make moves without consulting the rest of the group, because a rogue pimp isn't a lone pimp. You feel me knocking? Well, then let me in. Because if you lose, that's going to make the rest of us look soft. And that's not good for business.
You're not gonna let me in. The bar.
Velveteen stands before everyone and says, listen, I've been Pimp of the Year for 6 years running. I'm the one that put you in the position you in now. Now, I have a frat called I Lick a Thigh that require my services.
Oh my
I
God.
plan on making quick work of Fight and Subscribe. They're going back to the track to get these noble steeds back, because if I'm gone for too long, these stallions going to forget they were domesticated. We can't have that now, can we? They all looking different, but they approve. It's the next week. We cut to Reggie X Scripts approaching Cheeseburger, and he says, hey there, buddy, working hard or hardly working? I'm working, and I'm hard. So you're onto something. And he's like, that's more than I need to know. So for our next match, they both stop and look, and there's a wanted poster against the wall with their faces on it. What the hell is this? Oh shit, we're done, dude. We're done. I Look at Thigh finally did it. We're dead, man. Reggie Script slaps Cheeseburger. Hey man, get your shit together. I got you. We hear, you'll never find as long as you live. And Cheeseburger turns his head and he says, who is that? We see Lash Legend drinking a milkshake. Reggie Script says, oh, her? That's Lash Legend. He licks his fingers and adjusts his eyebrows. Nah, not her. Her. We see Awesome Kong turn up some chili cheese fries behind her. Reggie X Scripts in shock says, oh my. Cheeseburger says, that's a beautiful queen right there. He says, yeah, Queen Latifah. We see he tries to shoot his shot, and Awesome Kong tells him she crushes men like him. He says, ooh, don't threaten me with a good time. She isn't going for it. Throughout the show, he's continued to shoot his shot, calling him the Rizzler, he's trying to call her Rizzo.
Ayo.
And Reggie X Scripts tells him to chill.
Crazy.
And Reggie X Scripts tells him to chill before he gets a restraining order. And she finally gives up and tells him, she's like, you're picking me up, you're paying, and there better be food. And she says this as she pops a cheese ball. And he says, she's really coming over? Is it real? Is it fate? Or is it a ruse? Reggie Script says, no, I don't think. Before he can finish, Cheeseburger interrupts thinking, oh, I think she's really coming over. Oh, I'm really thinking it's a plan. Oh, I really think she's coming over. My heart's really thinking that it's grand.
Damn,
Oh,
Keith
really
Broadway BookItVerse did happen.
Oh yeah, I didn't do it for Keith. Oh, I think he's really coming over. Oh, I'm really thinking it's a plan. Maybe we can get freaky deaky, and I no longer have to use my hand. And we see several wrestlers behind them snapping their fingers and dancing and jumping off tables and doing flips as he continues to sing. I wonder why these females call her awesome. Something I will have to learn firsthand. Take her to the bed and we will wrestle. I'm just praying that she's not a man. He stops singing and says, hey, that's not a slight at anyone who rocks that way. So what? I mean, I did it. I had someone in college named Jeff. He had really rough hands, but Reggie Script says, hey, get back to the song. Oh, where was I? Oh, yeah. Oh, I think she's really coming over. I no longer have to use my hand. That's right, my hand. Then we see stage freeze. And we hear an applause as we cut back to Velveteen Dream. Obviously, if you had done as instructed, we wouldn't be at a point where I have to have my voice amplified to this decibel ho. And if you don't know what a decibel is, it is the level of measurement used for sound, for example, like a phone ringing. And speaking of ringing, that's what your head gonna do when I get done bouncing your head off the side. What do you say? Bouncing your head like a teleball. Keep playing with me. You're gonna be the first one to find out. He gets cut off by Teddy Long. Sorry to interrupt. You have a match. Don't want to be late. Dream comes out and all the women are screaming. He has his bottom hole crystal with him. In his entrance, he leans forward and she dabs his forehead with for sweat. He yells, jacket, and she removes his jacket. He comes in the ring real smooth. Oral Mintz is already waiting in the ring. The bell rings and Dream backhands him and it sends him flying in the air. The crowd is shocked as he walks over there smoothly in the heels and he puts his heel on his chest and pins for the 1, 2, 3. The crowd cheers, Dream, 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 as he calls for his jacket again, and Crystal puts it back on him and they walk out. Next week, Dream bumps into Reggie X Scripts. Watch where you going. Watch where you going. Watch where you going, Dolomite. Dream looks back in disgust and realizes who it is and says, oh, you're the ones. There's a bounty on your head, boys, and I've come to collect. Cheeseburger says, whoa, wait a minute. We apologize. We didn't mean for that to happen. Dream gets in their face. Cheeseburger says, Reggie Scripts, don't say anything because every time you say something, we get put in the match on the pay-per-view. And he says, no, I got to do it. I took a pimp class at USC. I can speak pimp. Listen here, pimpin'. It's the principle of the matter. You bump into your mans, you dig? Now I can teach you math, but you got to solve that problem. And you don't seem like you caught up with the rest of the class. So do me a favor, get down or get laid down. Dream looks pissed off and says, the only thing laid on me is these edges. I'm casket sharp, but you the one that's going to the funeral. Teddy Long happens to walk by and says, oh, I see you all want to fight. So how about this? Tornado tag match. The Velveteen Dream and his bottom woman, I'm not going to say that word, Crystal, versus Fight and subscribe in a tornado tag match at Soul Survivor. He walks away. Reggie Scripps gets pissed. I told you this was going to happen. We were supposed to lay low so we didn't get a match. I had a date with Kong this weekend. Awesome Kong is in the background chilling. Crystal says, who is this? Who's Kong? That big knuckle dragger you got back there? See, I'm Barbie. She's Barbecue. Okay, now I'm ready to fight. Nah, bring it back. Bring it back. Nah. So he's being held back. Nah, she's saying she's bad. Come on. I got something for it. Dream walks away laughing with Crystal as he puts a toothpick in his mouth. It's not the pay-per-view. Dream pulls up in a limo and Crystal gets out and opens the door for him and he gets out. We see Cheeseburger and Reggie Scripps, like their screen. They're on the back of Debo's bike as he drops them off and then keeps going. We see them both walking down the hallway for their match. And Cheeseburger and Reggie Scripps come out to copyright-free music as they're dressed in blue tights. And Superfly by Cootie plays as Dream comes out in an all-white suit. White platform shoes, several gold chains, and a white fedora as the crowd boos him as he walks down the ramp with his bottom hole Crystal taking off his coat and carrying it for him. The match starts with a backhand that drops Cheeseburger immediately. He walks over with his heels and puts his foot on his chest and goes for the pin. 1, 2, but Reggie Scripps dives and shoves his leg off. Dream walks up on him, but Crystal drops him from the side. Dream does a big boot in his heels to both of them. Crystal continues to beat them both up, knowing they can't hit her back, so they're just taking this beat down. Cheeseburger is resting against the ropes, and Dream pimp slaps him, and it sends him flying over the ropes as the crowd get up. And Dream pulls out a nail file and works on his pinky finger, and that's his only long nail, so he works on that pinky finger. Cheeseburger hits Dream.
Coke nail.
He got that coke nail. He got that. So Cheeseburger hits Dream with an inflatable baseball bat, and the crowd is going, oh, with each hit, even though it's not affecting Dream. Dream is on the top rope with Reggie Scripps and the fireman's carry. He jumps off and does a knee drop to Cheeseburger below with Reggie Scripps' extra weight. Reggie Scripps is on the apron as Dream is ringside. He jumps for a no-handed top rope springboard moonsault to Dream on the outside. Dream is on one knee, and he does a bring it taunt as he can barely stand. And then Cheeseburger pulls out a bag of Legos and pours them on the floor. And while he's pouring it, we hear "Pinata break" come from the loudspeaker. And Abdullah the Butcher comes down, hanging down. So he's on he's being suspended in the air, and he's holding a pinata. And they take the inflatable bat and they beat the pinata down. So now all the candy drops from this as well. So there's Legos and candy all over the floor. And Cheeseburger punches Dream, then puts him on the top rope. On the top of the turnbuckle. He hits the suplex off the top as we see Dream in pain rolling on the floor, as we see a couple Legos still in his back, and the camera zooms in on the damage of Dream. Crystal does a diving crossbody to Reggie Scripps on the outside. At one point, Reggie Scripps does a suicide dive on Dream, but Dream quickly turns into a belly-to-belly suplex real quick that wows the crowd. Crystal's using a kendo stick on both of their backs, and Crystal trips Cheeseburger while running, and Cheeseburger turns around and yells at her, but turns around to a super kick from Dream. The crowd boos until we see Awesome Kong come out from the crowd and does a running shoulder block that turns her inside out. She Irish whips her into the apron several times, then rolls her into the ring and performs a bonsai drop that leaves her incapacitated. Dream gets pissed off and goes to backhand her, but Cheeseburger gets in the way and gets slapped himself and lets out a very feminine scream while he gets hit, holding his cheek. Reggie Scripps scoop slams him, and Awesome Kong does another bonsai drop as well. Reggie Scripps jumps on top of him, and they all jump on top of him, and they pin for the 1, 2, 3. The crowd cheers as they get up, and Awesome Kong picks Cheeseburger up like a female, picks her up like that. And as he's in awe, she kisses him, and Awesome Kong and Reggie Scripps raise up the Circuit City Tag Team Championships, and that's the end.
There's a lot going on.
That was a lot. There's a lot going on. You guys got a musical. You guys got
Pimp named Slipback.
There's some that made me want to hate it, but I couldn't hate it. I went in at the very beginning. I was like, a fucking pimp convention, and I was like, Velveteen Dream is a pimp when the Godfather's right there. I was like,
I don't have him.
You don't have him?
I don't have him. Somebody picked him up before I can get him. So
think
you had to
Mike
get gold mouth instead.
Yeah, I think
Uh,
Mike picked the
I don't have Godfather.
Godfather.
Not
Somebody
this
picked up
round.
Papa Shango. I forget who it was. Somebody picked up Papa Shango.
It wasn't me.
Oh, might have been me. I don't remember.
I can't remember. Somebody picked them up, so I said, "Well, we still doing pimps. Like I'm gonna have Velveteen Dream do it."
But
It
the
works for
fucking
Velveteen
musical
Dream.
number-
It was. Yeah, I was like, it feel like it would work for him.
The musical number was really fucking good, actually. Like
Yeah.
you gave us the Lost Keith BookItVerse, and
I
I'm
did. I
actually
tried to.
just thinking
I tried to do it
with
for him.
that. Like that was a really good song for no fucking reason. Like, and then
That was gonna be
but-
stuck in my head.
But just like a real
Coming
musical, I
over.
kind of like stopped listening halfway through the song and waited for it to be over.
And I no longer have to use my hand. My hand.
That was it. That was where right after that I was like, that's funny, and then I checked out.
You know what? Go ahead, Dan.
I gotta give this a 5. The good was too good.
Yeah, I would agree.
That's how I feel. It wasn't perfect. It's the most imperfect 5 I've ever given.
Yeah, I agree.
I'll
Like,
take
there
it,
was,
I'll
like,
take it.
it was stupid in multiple parts.
Oh,
But I
it's
laughed my
stupid,
ass off the whole time.
The
So I
good
gotta
was
give
so
you a
good that I
5.
can't not give it a 5. You can't write that song and not get a 5. You can't do the fucking pimp convention and not get a 5. Like you tried to squander this, but it's just unsquanderable. Like
All right, Mike. Would you...
Yeah, a 5's fine.
Okay. I'll take all 5s for the silly ass shit of it. I was rereading like this is the dumbest shit, but they go pop.
So is that all you have for us today, bad guy?
That's all you get today. And the rest there's no more segments. The rest of it's just straight matches after this. So you only get
Okay.
2 matches and 2 segments today, and then next week you get 4 matches.
Gotcha. So that is part 1 of BOA's. What's the show name again?
Soul Survivor.
BOA Soul Survivor. I think
Yes, Soul
judging by
Survivor.
those scores, Kenny's in pretty good standing. Let's see if he fucks it up in part 2 next week. And before we go, we're gonna tell you where you can find us. D Money, where can they find you?
You can find me on all the things at DaMoney213. So that's DAMONEY213.
And Hi-Fi Mike, can they find you yet?
Nope.
Ah,
Don't look.
fuck this guy. And then bad guy, tell us about your 30 shows.
$500, and I'll tell you where you can find them.
I mean, you can find me, but I don't post anything publicly, so you got to be my friend.
I just
We'll make
saw
it work.
Paul-
$550, and we'll get you in.
People aren't gonna like the content I post these days. It doesn't matter.
Patreon, get to follow Mike on Twitter where he doesn't post.
That's
Yeah, it's
crazy.
a really boring fucking Twitter. So
That's a
I
wild
don't know
to
what to
pay
tell
for.
you.
It's Mike's Twitter.
I don't even know what the last. I want to see what the last thing I tweeted was.
Sean Paul really said pimping ain't easy. It ain't. It ain't easy, man. He was stressed, and he almost backhanded Awesome Kong, man. And look, Cheeseburger jumped in the way of his girlfriend, man. He jumped in the way. So
I'm knocking, so let me in.
The last thing that I posted on Twitter that wasn't a mention to somebody was August 23rd or August 26th of 23. It's
Damn,
about
over a year. We missed the
it's
anniversary.
it's time to be truthful. I'm just gonna come out and say it. Sugar Ray is a good band, and I still stand by
Oh,
that.
that's a bad tweet.
No, Sugar Ray's first couple albums are actually pretty heavy. I fucks with Sugar Ray pretty hard.
I'm
And
not
if you
defending
listen to Sugar Ray, take the douchiness of McGrath away, and
You
they're
can't.
actually not bad.
Though I do have a sticker on my trash can that says "Sugar Gay" on it from the iconic incident. Who the fuck called me Sugar Gay?
I was like, what is that?
But bad guy, 30 shows.
Yeah, you can catch me on all social medias at Bad Guy Spoken. You catch the Bad Guy Spoken podcast on YouTube's, and you can also catch Unbiased, the football podcast. See TK the little U. We just recorded our first episode, so be on the lookout for that here soon.
You get to watch me win the fantasy draft.
Yeah, and we got the draft, and we got a draft on there too. So check that out as well. And you can catch Hood Movie Review, where we review all your favorite and not so favorite hood movies. And you can also catch Geek in the motherfucking sheets, where we talk about all things anime, Marvel, DC, Star Wars, Lord of the Rings. We talk about all that stuff on there. And you can also catch Not a Real Court, where we talk about we have debates like about the best fruit.
Did y'all have the fucking vegetable yet?
No,
No, not yet, not yet.
you got to
God
come
damn,
on
give
for
me a
them to do
vegetable.
the vegetable.
Fuck.
You
I've
gotta
been
go
waiting for
for
this
it. You gotta-
episode for
come
fucking
on, look.
2 months.
You gotta come on.
But these motherfuckers won't eat some fucking
But-
celery and sort it out.
I'm
You gotta come
waiting
on.
for the bad guy presents musical court with bad guy.
Musical court is crazy.
Where
I
you,
feel
where
like
you, where you
That's the
judge
last.
musical
That's the
music.
last musical
Just
you guys
wrote
are
a
ever
hood
getting from
movie.
me. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. That's it. I can't sing. My voice is.
We gotta
starting
add
to go
music. We
away.
gotta write a musical to the wheel.
The
Hey, that'd be crazy. You gotta do
Write a you gotta write a musical episode.
Listen, I already did it. I already did it. I did my time.
don't y'all
Hey,
feel
I
like
might do
Kenny's
that.
like last storyline was literally just like an entire hood movie? That's what I feel like. Like you
For
have
that one?
yeah, like the pimp storyline. You got the fucking
It
like
was very
the
like a
song.
black exploitation.
Yeah, it was black exploitation style.
It,
He
that's
walked
that's
over.
the vibe I
He
got
walked
from it.
over a bunch of prostitutes, bro. He walked over with his heels.
It felt like a Tubi movie.
I was about to
From
say you can't say Velveteen Dream wasn't redeemed on this one. Velveteen redeemed.
From everything that I know about everybody's BookItVerse 5, it's essentially going to be different versions of what you just presented. That's what that is what I've come to conclude.
Listen, you don't know
the
what
last-
to expect. Like I said, you'll never, especially with my comedy division, you'll never know what to expect.
I am dreading that.
My BookItVerse 5 is mostly comedy.
Man,
Yeah.
we had a comedy book at first. We saw how that went.
Yeah,
It's lost
but
media
no,
now.
no. Hold on.
You
You tried comedy and failed.
You
and decided to go
succeeded.
straight.
And you let them bully you,
Herb.
John.
In retrospect, Travie T found it funny, but he wasn't there to defend me. So, fuck you, Mike. We were the
Travie T,
ones with the show.
that's everybody. He does that for everybody. He defends us all post 3 weeks later.
Had he been there, he probably would have talked shit the whole time. But knowing him,
Oh no, for sure. Travie T post episode versus Travie T on episode, completely different people.
yeah, that's true.
It
he
depends
he
on
would have
what
joined
day
in on
you
the
get
bullying
him.
just to do it.
He said he's mean. He's mean.
He's a bad mother. Shut your
Shut
mouth.
your mouth.
New challenger approaches.
Unfortunately, BookItVerse 5 is full booked. We've planned that out like a year ago.
Why'd you make it sound like we're an exclusive club? Like,
We are kind of an exclusive club.
What book?
It's
It
are
verse
all
six?
book, man. We're not.
Question mark.
But
We're
BookItVerse
not doing blue
6
t-shirts this
maybe,
week. We're not doing
or
blue t-shirts.
we still might do that one-on-one, that one-off for Sean Paul. Somebody reach out to him.
Um,
I'm here for
I
it.
can.
but yeah, Kenny's already written book at verse 6. But for now, that's all we got for you. If you want to
I got
find
an
me
idea for
anywhere,
it. I said I got an idea. For it.
it's just on the Reach for the Ropes Facebook group. We talk shit. We talk wrestling. We were roasting Paul London in there today for his recent comments. And
Damn.
with that said, that's been another episode of Book It. See you later.
Bye.